Breathless. Forbidden, Book 2. Written by Susanna Thompson. Narrated by Lauren Sweet. Chapter 10. True to his word, Cade took me back to my dorm after dinner without making any advances on me. In fact, he didn't even kiss me.
Thanks for going out with me, Lexie. I can't wait for our next date.
He beamed at me happily.
Well, good night.
Wait, I said, as he started to turn away from me. He turned back to face me.
Yes?
I moved closer to him and began to lean in to kiss him, but he shifted back.
You have to ask me for that.
What? I asked in confusion.
You have to ask me to kiss you, but you'll lose the bet if you do,
he explained. What? I exclaimed in dismay. Kissing is part of it too? You never said that.
Other things, Lexie. Kissing is the start of other things, so it's part of the bet.
I frowned at him. How do you expect us to date without kissing?
Well, Lexie, I expect us to enjoy each other's company and engage in conversation. And of course, we'll have dancing,
he added with a smirk.
Unless that's not fun enough for you,
he questioned in a mocking tone. I glared at him before speaking in a taunting tone. Oh, it's going to be fun, all right. Just you wait.
Oh, I can,
he retorted confidently.
I'm not so sure that you can, though. You just want sex from me, and I don't know how long you can last without it.
He laughed at the death glare I was now directing at him. I can hold out longer than you, I told him tersely.
We'll see,
he replied.
Good night.
Good night, I ground out in annoyance. It wasn't until later that I realized how prudent Cade was being. Considering how fast we usually went from kissing to making out, he was right that kissing was the start of other things for us. Maybe it was good that this silly bet was going to make us slow down and get our bearings. I hadn't thought about us as anything except sex partners, but our relationship should be based on more than that if we were dating. Just sitting and talking with him at dinner had been nice. I'd learned something new about him during our conversation about music, and I knew that we still had a lot to learn about each other. We hadn't really had any personal conversations during the past 2 years. I was starting to become curious about his life in California, and I decided to ask him about it the next time we talked. Morgan dared to call me, sounding ecstatic. Cade says you're dating. I knew it would happen. I'm so glad you're giving him a chance. That's way too much enthusiasm, even for you, I told her dryly. Sorry, she said, but I'm so happy for you. I huffed out an amused breath. Okay, but don't get ahead of yourself. We've only gone on one real date so far. Well, tell me about it, she urged. I did, and she laughed about our bet. What a great way to get him to go dancing. That's very clever of you. The bet was actually his idea. Maybe he secretly wants to go dancing, I suggested jokingly. Yeah, maybe you'll find out he's a great dancer and it'll be like in Footloose. Wouldn't that be awesome? She gushed. I doubt he can dance like that, especially since he told me that guys aren't into dancing. Maybe you'll get him into dancing. Anyway, what do you get if you win the bet? She questioned. Anything I want, I replied. There was a pause as she digested this. So, that means he gets anything he wants if you lose? Like anything? No limits. Once again, my stomach dipped like I was on a roller coaster. Yeah, that was what we agreed on. And he didn't even give you a hint of what he wants, she pressed. No, I answered. But why does this sound like something out of 50 Shades of Grey? She interjected. My stomach plunged even more crazily. It's not. I mean, you don't really think it's something like that, do you? Well, she hedged uncomfortably. Did he seem like he could be into that? When you slept with him, was he dominating? Not really, I replied, but there was now a queasy feeling in my stomach as I thought about him ordering me to keep my hands on the wheel. While that had been arousing, I didn't think I'd want to try actual bondage. Okay, so it's probably not even anything sexual, Morgan tried to assure me, and then hurried on. What do you want from him if you win? That was a good question. I don't know. I haven't thought of anything yet. Think of something embarrassing, she urged. I laughed. Okay, embarrassing Cade sounds fun. I've actually never seen him get embarrassed. Maybe have him serenade you in public, she suggested. That'll embarrass me too, I protested. But it would be so romantic, she gushed. That's your thing, not mine, I told her. What do you have against romance? She asked. Nothing, I said. I just don't need it. I like to keep things more casual. Okay, she said, obviously not understanding my preference. I'm just glad you're dating. Anyway, how have you been? I inquired. Good, she replied. But I miss you. It sucks that you're not here with me for senior year. I do kind of miss high school, I admitted. I felt really lonely when I first got here, but I'm starting to get used to it. And now you have Cade to keep you company, she said, bringing him into the conversation again. Yeah, and my roommate, I added, determined to talk about something else. She's really nice. Katie wasn't back yet from her date with her boyfriend. She had told me that they were taking advantage of seeing each other as much as possible now before they became swamped with homework and studying. It sounded like they were both diligent students. I wondered if Cade was taking college as seriously, or if he didn't care since he already had a guaranteed job at his dad's company. He had done his share of work on the one project we had done together in high school, so I knew that he was capable of getting good grades. I was dismayed to realize that my thoughts had drifted to Cade again, and I launched into telling Morgan about how long Katie had been with her boyfriend. And she'd never even gone to a party without him before, I continued. But she had fun. I'm going to have to make sure that I spend girl time with her. Yeah, she needs friends too, she agreed. But don't forget about your friend back home. I could never forget about you, I told her sincerely. You saved high school for me. I would have been alone at Eastland without you. You would have made friends, she said. And I know you'll make friends at college. I know a lot of times people drift apart after high school, and I'm a whole year behind you. That'll never happen, I declared. I'm gonna be a bridesmaid in your wedding, and I'll be babysitting your kids one day. Do you really think he'll marry me? She asked dreamily. Yes, I answered. He was in love with you even before you got together, and now you guys are so in love that it's sickening, I teased. I actually get goosebumps when I imagine marrying him, she confessed. It wasn't like that when I used to fantasize about marrying Logan. It was like a daydream about a handsome prince in a fairy tale. It sounds like your feelings for Blaine are a lot more intense, I remarked. They are, she confirmed. I can't believe it took me so long to realize how I felt about him. I'm glad you did, I said. I hope Logan and Julia figure out their relationship too. They're next, she predicted. Now that you and Cade are back together, it'll be their turn to realize they're in love too. The way she phrased that made me uncomfortable. Wait. I hope you're not saying that Cade and I are… Well, of course you're in love, she interjected. Why else would you wait for him for 2 years? I wasn't waiting for him, I argued. I just wasn't interested in dating anyone. Except for Cade, she stated. You weren't interested in anyone but him, and he wasn't interested in anyone else but you. That's love. No, I denied. That's you thinking that everyone is in love like you are. You're projecting your own experience onto the rest of us. But we're all different. Just because you want me to be in love doesn't mean that I am. Well, How do you feel about Cade? She questioned. I don't know, I replied. Attracted to him, obviously, since I slept with him. But beyond that, I don't know. I'm just going to wait and see how it goes this time. I'm not expecting anything. What do you mean? She asked. What aren't you expecting? Anything, I reiterated. As in, not anything at all. If it ends tomorrow, I'll be fine with it. She sighed. No, you won't be. But yeah, I see that he's still got a long way to go to get you to trust him again. I guess he deserves it. Definitely think of something embarrassing for him to do when he loses that bet. Oh, I will, I promised, with every intention of coming up with something that would make him squirm.